In 2019, a man named Volodymyr Zhukovsky killed 7 motorcyclists in New Hampshire. He had 17 prior driving violations, his license had been suspended in 3 states, and the company that employed him as a truck driver had never checked any of it, not once. They trusted him because he looked like a truck driver. He had a truck, he had a uniform, he showed up on time. That was enough. That's all it took. 7 people died because a company's brain did something your brain does dozens of times a day. It used surface signals to skip the actual check. And that's not stupidity. That's not negligence. That's a hardwired psychological glitch that scammers have been exploiting for as long as money has existed. Welcome to Anatomy of a Lie. Today, we're looking at the 2 glitches every scammer hits first, before they ask for a single cent. First up is the halo effect, discovered by psychologist Edward Thorndike in 1920. The findings were that when we perceive one positive quality in a person, our brain automatically assumes they have other positive qualities too, even ones we have no evidence for. Here's how it works. You meet someone who is well-dressed, well-spoken, and confident. Your brain registers those 3 signals and immediately fills in the rest of the picture. Trustworthy, competent, honest, successful. It does this automatically. Before you've asked a single question, before they've told you a single thing, the impression is already formed. Bernie Madoff understood this perfectly. He didn't just dress well, he chose the right suit, the right office, the right clients, everything designed to trigger the halo. Former NASDAQ chairman, regulatory board member, quiet, conservative, boring. Each signal stacked on the last. By the time you were sitting across from him, your brain had already decided he was safe. The meeting was just a formality. You see this outside billion-dollar frauds too. The financial advisor with the expensive watch and the certificates on the wall. The investment group with the sleek website and the professional headshots. The crypto project with the credentialed advisors listed at the bottom of the page. None of those things prove anything works. They just trigger the halo. And once it's triggered, you stop looking for proof. The uncomfortable truth about the halo effect is that it's not irrational. It's efficient. Most of the time, someone who looks competent is actually competent. Most of the time, the suit and the office do mean something. The glitch gets exploited precisely because it's usually reliable. Scammers don't create a new vulnerability in your brain. They find the one that was already there, the one that keeps you functioning normally every day, and they dress for it. The second tactic is commitment and consistency bias, identified by psychologist Robert Cialdini. He found that once we've publicly committed to something, a belief, a decision, a person, we feel psychological pressure to stay consistent with that commitment, even when new evidence suggests we should change our mind. Here's how it works. The moment you make a decision, your brain starts defending it. Not because the decision was right, but because reversing it feels like admitting you were wrong. And admitting you were wrong is psychologically expensive. It threatens your self-image. So instead, your brain does something clever and dangerous. It starts filtering information. Evidence that supports your decision gets amplified. Evidence that contradicts it gets minimized or ignored entirely. Madoff's investors experienced this in full. The first year they put money in, the halo effect did the work. But after year 2, year 3, year 5, it was commitment bias keeping them there. They'd told friends about it. They'd recommended it. Some had brought in family members. The social cost of being wrong had become enormous. So when small doubts crept in, the returns were too smooth, nobody could fully explain the strategy. They didn't investigate. They explained the doubt away, because the alternative was unthinkable. You don't need $1 billion investment to experience this. Ever stayed in a job too long because you'd already told everyone it was the right move? Ever defended a purchase you knew was bad because returning it felt like admitting you made a mistake? That's the same mechanism, same glitch. The scammer's version just has higher stakes and a more deliberate design. What makes commitment bias especially hard to defend against is that it disguises itself as loyalty, as confidence, as not being one of those people who second guesses everything. Staying the course feels like a virtue. Changing your mind feels like weakness. Scammers know this. The longer you're in, the harder it is to leave, not because the investment is working, but because leaving means confronting what staying meant. And most people would rather lose money than lose face. 2 glitches. One fires before you've even asked a question. The other fires after you've answered one. The defense isn't paranoia. It's a habit. Before you trust something, ask yourself what evidence you actually have, not what impression you've formed. And once you've committed to something, build in a scheduled moment to re-examine it from scratch. Pretend you're hearing about it for the first time. What would you think? That's the anatomy of how it starts. Every scam in this series, Fyre Festival, Theranos, Madoff, ran on at least one of these 2 glitches, usually both. Subscribe to the archive. Every week we break down another lie,